Hello, Super Coaches. It is the preview podcast for round 14. The calm before the storm. We got some big buy rounds coming up. Rob Sutherland and Jett Hatton are on the panel, and Rob is already shaking his head.
Oh, it's just so cliched, isn't it, Thomas?
No one's ever said it before.
I believe
it's original.
Okay, fine. I mean, yeah, if you want to start with a weak note like that, but then we move on to the strong stuff, like Jett. Good to have you back.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
Yep, back from what, 2 weeks off?
2 weeks in the spelling paddock, yeah. Back up at Old Bar, God's country after the floods, so it was good, mate. A few schooners and yeah, it was good.
You were saying before we went on how happy you were to leave your missus in Wollongong, and then you were going up there. You really enjoyed that time.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice, yeah.
How's your Supercoach team going, Rob?
Better than Jett's relationship right now.
Oh, no, that part's great. That part's great. What's good as that was.
Supercoach's fine, Tommy.
Fine.
6 weeks, 7 weeks ago I was 60,000th, and now I'm 14,000th, and that's okay.
Well, we're pretty close because I'm 13,000th. So
maybe I'm 14,500th. I might big up myself.
Yeah,
but,
well,
I'm in that area.
In the 13,000s. I don't look at those last three digits, that's for sure. How's your team going?
Yeah, good. As I was mentioning to Rob earlier, I ended up actually not trading in Paul Alamotti 2 weeks ago, and I went early on Lehigh Hopewada, who's knocked out 2 tons for me in a row. So
nice.
Played Green Arrows the last 2 weeks, so it's been good.
Nice. Well, let's do your trades for this week. What are you thinking, Rob? No trades for you, I'm sure.
God, please. That's not how I go. I came into the week thinking I wouldn't trade. But you know what? I told the story of my sort of, not drunken, but tipsy trading of Tom Trbojevic, and you just got to cut. I've got to cut bait, get rid of him, accept your losses, move on. So Tommy Turbo's out and Cameron Munster's going out, which is I'm not as happy about, but I think he's only going to play 2 of the next 5 between Origin and buys. So I'm going to sell him. I'm bringing in Hines. It was a coin toss with Jayden Campbell or Nicho Hines. I've gone with Hines just. The other one is I didn't have a lot of money and I wanted something solid, so I'm going Toby Couchman.
Couchman,
read
nice.
my mind.
The mid-ranger. Nice. What are you thinking?
I'm getting in Toby Couchman as well. Plays 15 and 18, playing on the edge this week. He's just he might be my favourite player that doesn't play for Cronulla. So I'm trading out Jeremiah Nene. He's done a great job for me, but he won't play next week and he plays Melbourne this week, and I'd just rather not have him. And I'm also trading out Robert Toya and bringing in Ewan Aitken. So I got a few injuries in my centre wing. I got Brimo out. I got Talo suspended and Nwanga Nidawase out. So I need to make a move there. So those are my 2 trades.
It's nothing fancy in Aitken, right? But he's a 55 guy who might bust a line and get you a try and score 80. So yeah.
And his buy coverage is great.
Yeah. I like him, but my issue with him is that I also have Dylan Lucas and Beau Firma. So I've got these back row guys and not much upside in my centre wing. So I'll be avoiding, but I do like it.
Yeah.
I am making no trades. Absolutely no trades this week. I don't really like any of the buys this week. I think there are issues over Lawson, who's the cheapie of the week. There are issues over Koloamatangi with Origin, and I already own him. Hopewadi is too expensive now. Jayden Campbell, there's some issues over him as well. So for me, no trades. What do you reckon?
Well, I wouldn't force it if you don't need to make anything. It is a good week to save trades.
Hopewadi is expensive, but I would say the next 4 weeks for them are just juicy as. And having said that, I can't remember them all, but there's Knights, there's Titans, I think there's Tigers, and there might be one other great matchup, maybe Rabbitohs.
I think it's South Sydney.
Yeah. So that's 4 great games. He could score 400 points across those 4, pretty easy. Campbell, what were your issues with Campbell?
It's mainly, so my thing with Campbell is I would have to trade Munster to him this week, which I don't want to do. I'll wait until next week. A lot can happen in Supercoach. I might do it. The other thing with Campbell, you need to have him at 5'8". There's no point owning him at fullback because fullback's so red hot. I'll be waiting. Have a look this week. I like him when he's playing fullback, but he probably goes back to halfback this week. Either way, it's just a good week to sit back, relax, and a lot's going to happen between now and the big buy round next week.
Fair enough.
How many trades you got left?
Don't even know.
Okay.
20 something.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not in the teens yet.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Who's the guy to avoid?
For me, I don't like people buying Heath Mason.
Yeah.
I don't really get it at all. I think Latu Fanu, he's back on the bench this week, but in 2 weeks' time he'll be the 7. He's their future. He's their franchise guy. So I think Heath Mason will revert back to that utility role, and I think he's a trap.
Yeah, I think people are being sucked in by the big score last week,
And the price.
and they'll probably be disappointed. Yeah, it's tricky at fullback. That said, if you were looking to get out of, say, a Nyongi, right, a guy who's pretty much peaked, has bad bye coverage, you might go there and hope for a 2 weeks, bit of a 100k bump and move on to someone else if you had lots of trades, but it's a luxury move.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you'll know.
Latrell Mitchell for me, he's not super popular this week. I think he's a top 10 buy, and I don't get it. He had 8 very good minutes last week, spent a lot of the time just floating around, but then he really got involved and does what Latrell does, which is, tremendous. But he only plays 2 of the next 6, assuming that most Origin players miss the game after Origin 2 because of the Perth travel. So 2 of the next 6 is a no for me.
Well, my no-go, given that you guys didn't take it, is Nathan Lawson, who's the most popular player this week. He is the best cheapie of the round. If you're looking to free up cash, he's the guy. But you can wait until next week. I don't see the point in jumping the gun.
Yeah, I think he looks great, but I'd be waiting until next week as well.
Yeah, he looks great, and he kicks Sloane out of the team. So, if he was named and Tui Pilotu wasn't, then then you've got an extra big cross, right? Because you're like, well, he's gone as soon as Tui Pilotu comes back. But he was named and Sloane was booted, so maybe he's ahead of Sloane, but you still get a free look. Take that week.
Your favourite segment, Rob? What do you got for us this week?
Just trading. I can't stop. I've already done that thing that you do every year where you go through your team and you're like, well, I'll keep him, I'll sell him, I've got this much cash, sell, move, da-da-da-da.
It never works out like that. Yeah.
No, it always does. And I've done that and I've still got 10 trades left. So that's plenty. I don't need to. I can keep trading.
So you'll be out by round 19 as per usual?
Worked for me last time.
Yeah. Well, it did.
Did. Build a strong team and hang on tight.
For me, I still have Kalen Ponga. And it's sort of worked well with the way Tom Trebojevich's situation's played out. And the other guilty pleasure is having the temptation to throw the VC on him just because no one has him anymore. Everyone sold him.
In the first game of the round, isn't it?
First game of the round against Manly. I think it's at McDonald Jones Stadium. So, Kalen Ponga is my guilty pleasure and has been for about 100 times this season. So,
for me, I'm holding Corey Horsburgh. I know he's the second most sold player, and I think he is a sell before next week. But I'm just going to hold this week because they're playing at home. He's playing for an Origin spot, so I'm hoping he can get, 60? He's in my 17, so we'll get 60, 70 out of Horsburgh this weekend, and then I'll move him on next week, which is almost his BE, by the way. I don't think he's going to lose too much cash.
Horse playing for an Origin spot means he's probably going to take someone's head off.
Yeah, suspended.
Yeah.
Go on. Well, I can sell him. I'm going to sell him next week anyway. So it's just a 1 week play, really. Welcome to our best bets, powered by Better. What are we thinking this week, Rob?
Well, in Supercoach, we love goal kickers. And despite failing spectacularly at this bet last week, I'm going to double down. So it's the total points for a player. I've got Garrick 8+, Pappenhausen 12+, Asako 8+, and Cleary 10+. Nice. 4 of those speculative bets gets you a massive $5. I think it's a horrible bet, but it's my best bet of the week.
Right.
Interesting. I'm going very simple this week. I'm going Melbourne head-to-head into Pappenhausen to score, into Ellie Katoa to score.
We're all on the same path here.
Yeah,
because you've gone Pappenhausen to score lots of points. You've got the Storm. I'm thinking the Storm in that game against the Cowboys is it's going to be a smash up. So I've got the VC. I'm going to go the C on Pappenhausen actually. Plus I've got him to score 16 plus points, which is kind of similar to you. With the line as well at minus 16.5, you get $3.25.
After they bumbled their way to victory over the Titans, Bellamy was filthy and came out and said, maybe I've been too soft on them. I think I need to work them harder. And I'm like, they would have had a brutal week. They're at home. It's got Storm bounce back game written all over it, even though they won. Well, they didn't win the way they wanted.
It's interesting that we all agree that this is the game to target if you're punting. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Heaps of questions coming through this week. Some chat that Sloane might be back soon. What are your thoughts there? I think Lawson's won that spot. The male is pretty good out of the Dragons.
Sloane's been pretty good this year on the wing, I thought. But Lawson was impressive as anything. So, not too sure. Flanagan seems to like Sloane. He's showed a bit more grit this year than he has in the years past. And he's transitioned into a winger. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see, really. I don't know.
I agree. Flano loves to chop and change and show that he's tough and kick someone out and put them in. And that's my problem with the Lawson-Sloane situation. I just can't trust, that Sloane really is out. So, yeah.
So, yeah, back to my original point. Wait until next week for Lawson, which I think we all agree with. The other question is, what do I do if I have Sandon Smith and Marmazelos at hooker? Do I just cop it this week? So, obviously, both hookers are out this round. Do you just go with the AE now that we've got the flex? Or, there's lots of situations here, but I think it's fine to run with no player in a particular position in any given week.
If you've got Marmazelos there, you've got to get rid of him. He's just dead weight there, and it's not like he's 200,000. You'd be able to get something for him. I don't know who you can really go for, but I haven't looked at the hooking options for quite a few weeks, but yeah, I'd try and move on Marmazelos.
I'd be fine just not going with anyone in that position for a week.
You could just nuff out
it's
Marmazelos.
It's a perfect VC option too.
Yeah, particularly if I was head-to-head, I'd happily take the AE. Take the risk rather than burn the trade. If I'm overall, maybe I'd burn the trade trying to find someone, but apparently Marmazelos isn't too far away. Even when he's back, I think he was more a start the season hooker than finish the season hooker. It's a tough spot this year. Maybe Connor Watson is going to be the best option there, but he's useless for the next 5 or 6 weeks, really. I'd be looking maybe at just copying AEs all the way through and crossing my fingers.
Jett, you always have some sort of left field special for us.
Yeah, nothing really as low ownership this week, but I thought Jermaine Osako was a nice trainer. You just mentioned him earlier. He's about 559,000, got a 3-round average just short of 70. He plays next week, obviously, so he covers that. He's trending upwards. He's got 62. Oh, sorry, wrong one's there, but he hasn't got lower than 60 in his last few weeks. They played the Dragons this week. Cowboys on Origin duty, so that could be a big score. Newcastle in the south, so I like him. Another guy that I thought was a nice shout, maybe is around 16 buy. It was Jarrell Skelton. He's back. Two 80-minute games this year. He hasn't scored below 60, so I like him as well, and Toby Couchman as well.
Skelton's got a good work rate.
Yeah,
busts plenty of tackles. My only problem is his durability can be questionable. I like Osaka. I think that's good. I've looked at him a bit, but I went Couchman instead, roughly the same price.
Yep.
To'o is my pod. You don't want to be buying Origin Panthers at the moment, but if you had him, you're going to be pretty happy this week. I think he'll go pretty big, and as soon as Origin finishes, he should be around 650, 680k. People might be piling to get back into Karaz. I'd maybe be waiting and get into To'o as a pivot.
Yeah, well, my pod of the week is Karaz. I think he's still a decent option, very expensive, but the BE is 120. It's okay, but you can get ahead of the crowd. The buy in round 16 is a bit of an issue, but I think Karaz is a guy that you could have in your final team at the end of the year. Just pick him up for whatever price, get him in this week, assuming, of course, that he is cleared to play, which we'll get that news later on.
It was amazing he came back as early as he did.
Cheapies of the week. So I think we've put a line. We've already said Nathan Lawson, wait until next week. Heath Mason is a no-go. Next on the list is Loco Pacifici Tonga, only averaging 25 minutes. We've got that try on the weekend. He looks like a gun player, but the minutes are going to be limited.
Yeah, he's awesome. There could be more minutes there with Jayden Sewer going down and Toby Couchman moving on to the edge.
Yeah.
So we could get more, but yeah, I don't think you could. Like, who are you going to go to him?
I've got him as an AE trap. Yeah. I'd prefer to go to a true nuff if I'm going to go cheap.
Yeah, and prop is such a strong position this year that you can't really carry a cheapie there. You need to have probably 3 guns and one guy who you can plug into your 17 on a bye round or whatever week when there's an injury. So yeah, I think that prop is just a position to not run any cheapies at all. On to captaincy. What are we thinking this round?
I was just going to go VC either Pappenhausen or Kalen Ponga, seeing how I'm feeling, and then C, Nico Hines or Nathan Cleary. I think the Sharks, without Mitch Barnett, the Warriors, I think the Sharks' middles will dominate, and Nico will get a lot of quick and early ball. And Nathan Cleary has just looked awesome. He hasn't really had many attacking stats at all, and I don't mind sitting back and waiting for that Sunday afternoon game as everything's played out and you've still got your captain to play. It just makes me feel good. So it'll either be Hines or Cleary, seeing how I'm feeling on the weekend. So I've
got Paps VC, like I think most of us will.
Yeah.
Cleary is most likely the captain. I've done the same. The Hines one that I really like, and it annoys me right now because I can't think of his bloody name, is the wingers come back.
Sione
Katoa. And that's just going to open up that Hines side. You know,
He's
like
so good.
Hines, Ramey and Katoa, they just work really well together. Now, I think he's deputising for Mulatalo this week. Are they going to play on the left, or they're going to switch?
He'll play on the right.
Great.
Katoa's never played on the left.
Okay.
Because he's got that right-hand jump ball,
and left-hand fence. So in that case, I love that right-hand side. I think it could be the thing that pushes Hines into the 90s and 100s. And so I'm tempted to go that way too. I'll toss a coin on it.
So Terrell May is at 42% captaincy, which has got to be close to, if not his highest percentage of the year. What are your thoughts on him? Playing a safe captaincy option, playing for an origin spot given the injury to Barnett. At 42%, it's very high.
He was at 44% last week as well, I think.
So, yeah.
Well, his average is just short of 90 for the season, so you can't knock it. If you captain him every week, you'd probably be doing pretty good.
I captained him last week. Wasn't his greatest game, but I was pretty happy. I would say this: he looked tired last week. He seemed to be unbreakable, right, all year. But last week he looked tired early, and he got a bit of an early break. He came back on, but I do wonder: is it starting to finally take its
hard? It's hard, isn't it?
It's hard. Like, I don't think any prop should be playing even close to 80 minutes in the NRL. I think 60 minutes is the max, and he's been averaging, I don't even know what, early 70s, mid 70s.
Yeah.
He's a big boy too.
Yeah, for me, it's a no-go on Terrell May, so I'll go against the crowd. I'm going to go Pappenhausen as captain at home, only 10%, and then I'll VC Sharp in the game before.
You love those crazy ones.
Hey, I don't, not really. I'm more of a safe kind of player generally, but Pappenhausen playing at home, always captain. Okay. It's like Turbo playing at Brookie, or Teddy playing at Allianz. You just lock it in.
Or Hines at Shark Park.
Hines at Shark Park. There we go.
Or Cleary against the Tigers. Oh, it's going to be tough. Yeah.
We've been waiting all week for a rant to end the show. What's your final thought, Rob?
I'm happy this week, Tom. I got a lot off my chest last week. I've got nothing super coachy I'm pissed off about.
Nothing about Frank?
Nothing about Frank or his multiple lovers. But, you know, if I was going to have a mild rant, it's that it really pisses me off. And I've said this, I think, at the start of the year, that the way an attacking player is allowed to constantly step off the line. When they get up to play the ball, they do that little sideways roll, or they move to the side, or they grab the defender and move him out of the way. And then, you know, the dummy half takes a jet, and the commentator's like, oh, you know, he spotted there were no markers. I'm like, there were no markers because they're taken out of play, and nothing gets done about it. Like, the game's only reffed one way. It annoys me.
For me, it's not really related to Supercoach, but I haven't been on since State of Origin last Wednesday, and geez, that Brian Toto sin bin was just ridiculous. When he went up into the air, he was contesting the ball, and the only reason that he ended up getting hands around Coates was because Coates was so big, he's gone straight into his chest, and his arms just wrapped around him because of it. So that's the only thing I really have to say.
We had to make a game of it.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, one question to finish the show: your best bye. Who's the number one bloke that you need to bring in, probably for next week?
Lehigh Hawaii, I reckon. He just looks awesome. And if Tommy's injury, because I keep saying to the cork, but I don't know, do we all buy that?
There's also some strange word that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Myofascial.
A myofascial tear, is it? Or,
If he's playing fullback, I think you have to have him. He's so busy. I think he's the best fullback at the club, to be honest, the way Tommy's been in the last 12 months or so. So wouldn't be surprised if they give Tommy a rest for the next few weeks and Lehigh just plays over the bye.
Yeah, look, I mean, as I said earlier, I think there's every chance he scores 400 points in the next 4 weeks. I'm not saying he gets 100 each time. He might get 130 and might get a 60, but I think he'll get 400 over that period if he can stay at fullback. Outside of that, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. I really like Billy Kicks. I brought him in, and then there was that torrential weather, and he had probably his worst game. But I've got a feeling, he might score a bit over the next few weeks.
For me, I've got a few guys I'm tossing up. Jayden Campbell, definitely on my radar for next week. Karaz, definitely on my radar. Farnworth and Ienco, I still don't own as well. So
You've been talking up Ienco all year.
I know, I still haven't got him in.
Yeah.
He'll miss a game. He won't score eventually.
I know.
Someone will trade him in and then he'll stop.
Exactly. I'm going to stuff him. I'm going to stuff
yeah.
Farnworth. I'm going to stuff but Karaz is the guy who I'm probably thinking is the number one out of those guys. But I also like Jayden Campbell if I can get him in at 5'8", not at fullback. That is it for our preview podcast, round 14. Catch you next week.